Hello everyone, and welcome to another Let's Play of The Crown and the Flame, Book 3, Chapter 6 of 17. While Kenna races off to rescue Dom, it's up to Val and Raiden to prepare Fydoria for the coming invasion. So it sounds like this is going to be a Raiden chapter, which is all my Christmases come at once. And also we're going to Fydoria, which means we get to see Tevin, which I adore Tevin. So here we go, let's do this. The Secrets of Fydoria. Yep, sure enough, now playing as Raiden. While with Kenna leading an expedition to confront Hex and Aurelia, you find yourself traveling in the opposite direction toward the kingdom of Fydoria. With you is a small force of Stormholt soldiers, as well as a most unlikely traveling companion. Good morning, Val. Ah! Raiden, I swear by every god you hold dear, if you don't stop sneaking up on me. 1,000 apologies. I shall endeavor to walk more loudly in your presence. Val turns back to the airship controls, muttering to herself. After a moment. I bet you wish you were going to help Aurelia right now, it being your home and all. So, are you doing all right? A twist of anguish grips your chest, but you brush it aside with practiced ease. I trust Kenna and the others to handle the situation. Besides, we are needed elsewhere. Guess so. I'm gonna regret saying this, but for what it's worth, I'm glad you came along. Valentina, are you being nice to me? And now I'm regretting it. Just shut up and tell me about Fydoria. You've been here before, right? I have. Fydorians are somewhat colorful. Innon, the capital city, is the kingdom's cultural center. Balls and symphonies are regular occurrences. The nobles have a reputation for being very cultured and a bit superficial at times. Sounds like you'll fit right in. You smile at Val's attempted insult, causing her to scowl and mutter to herself again. You'll soon have the opportunity to make your own assessment. Can't wait! Your airship glides below the clouds, and Val guides it toward an empty field outside the city. Upon arriving at the palace gates, you're greeted by a couple of brightly decorated soldiers. Wow! Yeah, that is brightly decorated. Welcome, travelers, to the Grand Palace of Innon. May I ask the purpose of your visit? We are here at the behest of Her Majesty Kenna Rhys, Queen of Stormholt. Kenna Rhys? My words, I've heard such remarkable stories about her. Did she really defeat the Blood King single-handedly? I heard she cut off his nose and now wears it as a necklace. Really? How dreadful! I'm gonna start cutting off noses if you don't let us talk to whoever runs this joint. They're already on their way out, and you don't have to be so rude about it. The palace doors burst open. A tall figure in shining purple and gold strides out, closely followed by a retinue of guards and courtiers. Where is she? Where's my favorite warrior queen? It's been ages. Sorry. Kenna's not here. She was called away on a mission of utmost importance. We were told to convey her regrets. Oh, I see. A pity. I had so hoped we could finally have that drink together. King Tevin lets out a long, forlorn sigh, waving a hand dismissively. You note the calluses on his palms, as well as several thin scars. I see you've been practicing the sword. Why, yes. One has to stay and practice during wartime. But how did you... Tevin follows your gaze to his hands. Well now, nothing slips by you, does it? Not if I can help it. But where are my manners? May I introduce my twin sister and most trusted advisor, Princess Auron. A primly dressed young woman steps forward, glancing at you over a pair of gold spectacles. Hello. I love her. We're grateful to have you here. Unfortunately, much of our army was lost during the fight to reclaim Enin from King Luther's forces. We've bolstered our numbers through recruitment, but the new recruits are mostly young aristocrats and artisans, untrained in the arts of war. So all that stands between your kingdom and the Iron Empire is a bunch of spoiled noble brats? I believe what Val meant to say is that we're happy to help in any way we can, including training your new recruits. Right, Val? Hey, if it means I get to spend all day making these rich dandies sweat, then I'm more than happy to help. Val leers at the nearby soldiers, who shift uncomfortably in their gilded armor. Take heart, friends. No one writes epic ballads about the ones who stayed safe at home while their friends fought to defend the kingdom. You really think they'll write ballads about this, Your Majesty? If the bards don't, I'll write them myself. I love him. Excellent. We have no way of knowing how soon the Iron Empire will arrive, but it's safe to assume it will be sooner than we'd like. And since they're coming, we must fortify your coastline. Once Azura's army crosses the ocean, she'll have to go through either Fydoria or Abanthus in order to invade the other kingdoms. And we're a much easier target than Luther's stronghold. I'm afraid so. We must keep our eyes on the sea so that Azura's ships don't take us by surprise. This will be like no battle you have fought before. The Iron Empire's strength lies in more than its superior numbers. Whatever do you mean? Well, for starters, the Empress can shoot lightning bolts out of her hands. Lightning bolts? Yeah. From her hands? Maybe some other places too. Who knows? Raiden, I can't tell if she's joking. I'm afraid she's not. We experience this power in rather close quarters. I do not know if we've seen the full extent of her abilities, and I cannot begin to guess how one might defend against them. Actually, I might know a way. The Enon Library contains books that are centuries old, and some speak of a time when all sorts of magic were common in the Five Kingdoms. Do these books say how such magic can be countered? I may be misremembering, but I seem to recall a reference to something called anti-magic. Your heart quickens. That sounds promising indeed. If you need, if you would like some assistance in the library, perhaps I could, Your assistance would be greatly appreciated. Val, you'll be fine training the army without me? Val looks up from Auron's blushing face to yours, raising an amused eyebrow. Oh, I'm going to have a great time. Just try not to get too distracted in there, yeah? I'll do my best, but it can be difficult to stay focused when there are so many interesting tomes to read. Black House, she's serious. Yes, I'm afraid so. Please lead the way, Your Highness. She's so cute. I like her. You follow Auron through a pair of tall golden doors. Gentle lamplight flickers across the spines of countless books. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, I want to live there. Welcome to the Grand Library of Inan. It's beautiful. I feel as though I've come home. That's how I feel about it too. Much as I would like to lose myself in these shelves, we do have a mission. Shall we start with the history section? Yes, that seems the logical place to begin. This way. You follow Auron up one of the delicate spiral staircases. I don't believe I've ever seen so many books in one place. It's wonderful, isn't it? Finding a particular book can take time, though. I hope you don't mind. Why would I mind? I relish any chance to spend time with, I should say, such a beautiful woman, a good book or 12. Let's say stay focused on the books, a good book or 12. I'm the same way. Sometimes I wish I could spend all day reading. How fortunate that we have an excuse to do that very thing. Aaron scans the shelf for a moment, pulling down a book for you. Here, this is one of my favorite historians. His prose is beautiful, almost like poetry. Thank you. I'm sure I'll enjoy it. The two of you begin reading together in companionable silence. A while later, you find yourself engrossed in a book of mythology. The would-be queen traveled to the end of the world, to the place where land and sky met. She reached up into the sky, grasping for the power that ran through it like a great river. The gods of land and sky warned the would-be queen. The power was more than a mortal could bear. It would burn away her heart and leave her a hollow thing. Oh! You found something? Not what we're looking for, just interesting. This book is a record of several Fydorian noble lines. There's a mention of a young lord marrying well, here they call her a fire witch. I beg your pardon? Aaron holds open the book, showing you a drawing of a young woman with dark hair and a man who looks strikingly familiar. They don't look familiar to me. Who are they supposed to be? Examine. That man looks just like Dominic, and that woman has the same flame-shaped brand on her chest. Aaron squints at the words written underneath the drawing. Lord Arden Alcantar of Farrell and his wife Idara, family name unknown. What happened to them? It's a sad story, but I don't think it has anything to do with anti-magic. Aaron closes the book and reaches up to return it to the shelf. Could it be? Could the people in that drawing be Dominic's parents? So our options are to let Aaron shelve it or to read the book, which we're going to do that. Actually, I'd be interested in reading that story if you wouldn't mind. Not at all. Aaron hands you the book. You study the drawing for a moment longer, then turn the page and begin to read. At age 32, Lord Arden married a woman named Idara, who he claims he met during a hunting trip in the Blackspine Mountains. Formerly beloved by his people, Lord Arden lost favor after rumors began to circulate that his new bride was a barbarian fire witch. He perished shortly after the birth of his first child. Claiming witchcraft as the cause, Arden's brother Horace called for Idara's arrest. How dreadful people can be! Idara refused to stand trial, fleeing with her infant son in the night. Soldiers apprehended her in the plains north of Stormhold, and she died in the resulting struggle. You close your eyes for a long moment, turning the new information over and over in your mind. When you open them again, you see Aaron watching you. Are you all right? I'm fine. Just thinking about my own parents. Oh, are they? I never knew them. My sister and I, well, let's just say we were left to our own devices at a very young age. Aaron hesitates, then reaches out to touch your arm. I'm sorry. I think I know how you feel. I've lost family too. You should know there's more to that story. I remember my mother talking about Lord Arden once. It was quite the scandal at the time, so there was a lot of talk. Did the talk differ from what ended up in the history book? Those soldiers that killed Adara, they were assassins. Some believe that Horus was the one who started the rumors that Adara was a witch to turn the townsfolk against his brother. Everyone at court knew that Lord Horus was jealous of his brother. Being the oldest son, Arden was set to inherit their father's lands and title. And no one suspected Horus may have had a hand in Lord Arden's death? There was a lot of suspicion, but no evidence. No one was willing to risk going against a powerful noble house to defend a nameless foreigner. You turned back to the drawing, considering the brand on Adara's chest. Do you know if Adara had any family? None that came with her to court. She never told anyone her family name or exactly where she came from. Everyone assumed she was just trying to hide the fact that she was born a commoner. The Alcantar family didn't approve of marrying down. I suspect the truth may be more complicated. It often is. Aaron, do you think I could borrow this book? I have a friend who ought to know this story. Of course. I mean, we don't usually lend out books, but if you promise to take care of it. You nod, tucking the small book into your belt pouch. Thank you. I will guard it with my life. After another long hour of research, Aaron lets out a dejected sigh. I found several references to magic and anti-magic, but no reputable scholar seems willing to admit they're anything more than folklore. But I just remembered that the library does have an extensive collection of ancient artifacts.
Perhaps our search will yield more fruit there.
In the ancient artifacts section, you wander among glass cases full of old, broken objects, masks and scrolls, reliquaries, and strange, beautiful stones. Half of these are not even labeled. Enough mysteries here to last a lifetime. A small book catches your eye, its leather cover cracked with age. Gently, you remove the book from its case and page through.
Look here. These diagrams seem to show a figure negating magical attacks.
Really? Let me see. Aaron flips through the next several pages, which are full of an unintelligible script. It's all in ancient Irithi. No one's spoken that language in centuries. I might be able to pick out a few words, but you study the text and something tugs at your memory.
I've seen this before. Azura gestures to an ancient carving over the balcony door. It says, "For every life, a purpose." So ancient Irithi is not extinct after all.
Oh, I wonder if Clover can read it. You turn to the back cover and see a small pocket sewn into the leather. There's something inside. Examine the strange amulet. Orin holds the amulet up. You note how the flaws within the stone seem to bend and fracture the light.
This is no stone I'm familiar with. Yet another riddle for us to ponder.
Drat these riddles. If we don't find some answers soon, I'll be very cross.
You let out a chuckle, causing Aaron to blush. Perhaps we should give ourselves a bit of a rest. I'm sure Val will be interested into hearing what we've discovered so far.
Aaron nods, and the two of you make your way out of the library. Now playing as Val. You sit slouched on the front steps of the palace, watching scores of Fydorian soldiers try and arrange themselves into ranks in the courtyard. That's it. I'm gonna go take a nap. Call me when they're done. Beside you, one of the Stormhold soldiers you brought along gives a snort of laughter.
What? You thought teaching military discipline to Fydoria's noble sons and daughters was going to be easy?
Who said anything about discipline? I'm just here to teach them how to fight. Sir, why exactly is this mercenary teaching us at all? Is she even an officer? Listen here, you gilded twit. I should say, I've fought Iron Empire soldiers. And how is that different from fighting anyone else? Maybe if you shut your mouth for 2 seconds, you'd find out. What? Why, I will not stand here and be spoken to with such insolence. I'll have you know my father is a baron. Oh, well, in that case... You stand, dusting yourself off, and step down into the courtyard. What's your name, Mr. Baron's son? Oh, it's son. I was going with daughter. Usually they don't make me... I can have the soldiers be any gender I want. Claudius Uma III. Well, Claudius, you think I've got nothing to teach you. Oh, for once we don't have to spend diamonds. We've got the... What is this? Legend points. Take a swing at me. Take a swing at me. What? Take a swing at me. Unless you're scared. Claudius sputters indignantly drawing his sword. The other soldiers move aside, letting him through to the front of the crowd. Very well. Someone ought to teach you to respect your betters. You step forward to meet him, cracking your neck and swinging your arms to limber up. You don't bother to unholster your flail. All right then, Lavender Man, teach me something. Claudius springs forward. You step to the side, smirking as his graceful fencer's lunge carries him right past you. I'm gonna kick this guy in his shiny ass. You wind up and plant your boot firmly in Claudius's backside. Whoa! Claudius stumbles forward, trips, and goes sprawling to the ground. Of all the undignified, is this a duel or a tavern brawl? If you need to ask that question, you've already lost. Before Claudius can stand, you plant a knee in his back, twisting one of his arms up behind him. My arm! You're going to break my arm! Sounds like somebody's ready to apologize. I'm sorry. Please accept my humblest... Ow! Apology accepted. You release Claudius, and his 2 friends help him hobble to a nearby bench. Scattered whoops and applause ring out from the gathered soldiers. Ha! About time someone showed that stuffy lout the hard side of their boot. Will you show us that move, milady? My stars! Are all mercenaries so fast? Not even close. I'm kind of legendary. Alright, the rest of you watch closely. You run through a simple routine of attacks and blocks with the Stormholt soldier, then set the rest of the soldiers to working on it in pairs. Have at thee! Eek! The second soldier fumbles her practice sword, nearly dropping it. I'm sorry, I've never fought anyone before. I never would have guessed. Maybe Mother was right. All I'm good for is dancing at balls and looking pretty. Hey, there's no rule against looking pretty and doing lots of violence. I'm living proof. Just remember, fighting is basically the same as dancing. Like dancing? How? You just need to learn the steps and practice them. Other than that, it's all about timing. Come on, let's try that again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. You run through the movements again, counting off the rhythm. A few minutes later, the soldier manages to score a hit on your shoulder. Oh, I did it! I hit you! Nice one. Also, ow. Excuse me, the lady mercenary? Yeah, not loving the title. It's just Val. As you say, Val, I was wondering, what is the best opponent for attacking an what is the best method for attacking an opponent in armor? I've only ever fought in duels, I'm afraid. I'm concerned that this weapon won't be very effective against those Iron Empire chaps. He holds up a thin rapier with a light blade and a wickedly sharp point. With that weapon, you should aim for the joints. armor from the Iron Empire is built for speed and maneuverability, which means more weak points that a thin blade like this can exploit. Aim for the throat, underarm, waist, or anywhere else you see a gap in the armor plates.
Splendid! I'll do just that. Thank you for your help today, Val. Can't wait to give those Iron Empire brutes a taste of Fydorian gusto.
Happy to help. After a few hours of practice, the Fydorians are actually starting to resemble something like a real army. Damn, I'm good. The doors open to the palace, revealing Raiden and Orin. Raiden nods to the nearby garden. Keep 'em practicing, will ya?
Whatever you say, milady mercenary. You give this soldier a playful rap on the helmet, then turn to follow Raiden and Orin. You join Orin and Raiden in the center of some fancy hedges, taking a seat on the lip of a huge, gaudy fountain. Find anything useful in that world-renowned library of yours? Perhaps. This book appears to contain instructions for several spells that could interrupt or negate magical attacks.
Hells! That sounds exactly what we need to kick Azura's alabaster ass.
Unfortunately, neither of us can decipher the words. Take a look.
Raiden shows you a page of meaningless scribbles. Great! All that time in the library and the best you've got is a book you can't read?
It's not our fault nobody's spoken ancient Arithi in 1,000 years. No one in the 5 kingdoms, at least.
Besides, that's not all we found. Take a look at this.
Ooh, shiny!
Pretty. What's it for?
It was inside the book, so it must be related to anti-magic in some way.
We have a few hypotheses, but without rigorous testing, there's no way to... You snatch the amulet out of Orin's hand and slip the chain over your head.
Wait, we don't know how that artifact works. It could be dangerous.
Cool off, Spy Master. It's not even doing anything. Whoa, I take it back. It's definitely doing something.
Fascinating. May I?
Hesitantly, Orin reaches out to touch the strange energy swirling around you. Slightly resistant to pressure, and a temperature slightly below ambient. I saw diagrams similar to this in the book. I think it's a shield against magic. Now that would be useful. With the protection amulet, Val would be immune to all magical attacks. Take the amulet for a major edge against Azura.
So we can let Orin keep it, or else yes, I'm taking it. I hope we ask permission.
Let's see her radiance? Try to zap me now. You tuck the amulet safely beneath your shirt, and the shining aura fades from sight.
I do feel better having a hidden advantage.
If you'll excuse me, there is some business I should attend to before the day is through.
Please, don't let us keep you. Shall we begin our research anew tomorrow?
I would like that very much. Until then...
Orin curtsies and hurries back to the castle. Raiden watches her go until he notices you smirking at him. What?
So, did you spend all that time just researching, or...
The air is suddenly shakes with the booming of huge bells. Panicked shouts cut through the din, and you see a messenger sprinting toward the castle. Enemy sighted! Enemy ships on the horizon! What?
No way! They couldn't be here already!
You there! How many ships? How fast are they approaching? Scores! Hundreds! Screaming toward us like winged horrors! Oh, gods! Go tell the king. Now! The messenger salutes, dashing up the castle steps. You stroke the handle of your flail, gritting your teeth.
Burning black sodding hells! No way this army is ready for a fight! Do we run?
There's no time. Listen. You shut your mouth and hear screams from the direction of the dock, the clash of steel on steel, the thunder of thousands of boots coming your way. What do we do? We improvise. Raiden turns and shoves you into the fountain. You hit the waist-deep water with a splash, sinking to the bottom of the basin. Above, you hear distorted shouts as blurry white forms converge on Raiden.
We claim this city in Azura's name. Best you lay down your weapons, friend. We do not wish to kill you.
And I do not wish to die. No. The soldiers march Raiden up the steps of the castle, and you cautiously poke your head above the water.
Raiden, you bloody stupid idiot!
No. Not long after, you escape the fountain and find a hiding spot among the hedges. From your vantage point, you watch as Raiden and the other nobility are forced to kneel before Azura. King Tevin, I am sorry that we had to meet this way. I have long admired Fydoria from afar. Swear fealty to me now, and I promise no harm will come to your people. Tevin glances to the side, where Joran holds Aaron firmly by the soldier's shoulder. I swear my loyalty to the Empress Azura, who shines brightest. Very good. That will suffice for now. Joran, please make them comfortable in the dungeons until my clerks can draft the formal papers. Yes, Your Radiance. As Joran marches the prisoner into the palace, Raiden looks directly at you and cocks one eyebrow ever so slightly. Move along, prisoner. Joran prods Raiden with the butt of his spear, and the prisoners continue their march inside toward the dungeons.
Great. Looks like Val's going to save the day again.
Oh no, I was not expecting that. You delved into the secrets of the great library of Fydoria and discovered an important clue to defeating Azura. You learned the tragic story of Dom's parents. Someday you'll share it with him. You showed a stuck-up, arrogant ass of a baron's son who's boss, gaining the respect of the Fydorian troops. And you gained an anti-magic protection amulet, making you immune to all magic attacks. Azura has crossed the ocean and seized control of Fydoria. Will you be able to escape the city in time to warn Kenna? Oh, that's just horrible. Oh, poor Raiden. Okay, well that was chapter 6 of book 3. And I think the next chapter will be finding Dom. So, okay then. Or I guess it could be Val escaping. I don't know. We'll find out, won't we? So that has been another Let's Play. We're getting toward the middle of the book. Things are getting exciting. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.